New York Daily News, well, they're at it again. Just one day after this controversial cover about the San Bernardino killings, the Daily News editor out with this statement defending it, saying, quote, "The Daily News front page is not in any way, shape, or form condemning prayer or religion. Anyone suggesting otherwise is either intentionally or unintentionally misconstruing the point, which is that most GOP politicians have offered nothing but empty platitudes and angry rhetoric in response to the ongoing plague of gun violence in our country." The paper also following up with an equally controversial cover today, the paper labeling the shooter, along with other mass killers, as terrorists, and including with them Wayne LaPierre, the head of the NRA, and including a line claiming the NRA has enabled terrorists with their, quote, sick gun jihad. Stephen, I'm not buying that statement by the New York Daily News. They knew exactly what they were doing in a paper that has been having some financial trouble. I think they're loving this attention. Yeah. They are. I used to work there. They never get attention. They have New York Post envy, and so they're finally getting it, and they're feeling their oats by doubling down.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of torn about even talking about this, to be honest with you, because we're giving them the attention that they obviously saw it. It's like a child throwing a tantrum. They were very clearly mocking religion. That was what everybody was doing on Twitter that day. They cited the Twitter the comments on Twitter in their statement, very clearly mocking religion. I think they wanted attention. You know, I don't know what there is to say. It's a disgraceful piece of journalism.
Yeah. And Kennedy, you look at the gun laws, very strict in California, something that the New York Daily News seems to be missing.
Conveniently, yeah.
Terrorists, they don't follow gun laws.
Yeah.
They don't. And so all this call to action that we're hearing from D.C. is only going to hurt the law-abiding citizen. And frankly, if someone would have had a gun that day, they may have been able to actually save some lives.
It's very difficult to get a gun in California. And in fact, there are a lot of people in this administration, including people like Chuck Schumer, who would like to see the California standards become national standards. And I really feel that progressives and leftists are so far off base with this issue by turning it into an issue about guns, because that's not what it's about at all. And it doesn't go to the heart of this motivation, which, you know, we're still trying to fully understand. We still need more intelligence. We still need more to round that out. But we have to take a good hard look at separate the guns from the issue. Let's look at the violence. Let's look at the mental illness, and let's look at the terror. Those are things that the administration does not want to address. And those things aren't going to go away, even if you take guns away from decent citizens.
There's no question. I mean, you look at all the other weaponry that Trey's outlined at the top of the hour.
Pipe bomb
I mean, are we going to? Yeah, I mean, IEDs, pipe bombs, they're all illegal. Yeah. And so this is just another knee-jerk reaction that's taking one tool that could stop this out of the arsenal of law-abiding Americans.
Well, and you have, to follow up on Kennedy's point, the president keeps, asking for whatever he wants on the table when California has done everything the president has asked for. They have universal background checks. You have to have a permit to purchase any kind of firearm in California. You could go on and on about how California is the standard for what liberal politicians in D.C. and other states want to do. But on the New York Post situation, or New York Daily News situation, speaking of journalism, by them putting Wayne LaPierre, who is in charge of a civil rights organization that has been part of American culture for more than 100 years, and compare him to not only Islamic jihadists, but also mass shooters, it's completely dishonest, and it's false journalism. I mean, the Daily News is putting this on there as if this is fact, and this is completely bogus. And while they're complaining about their views about religion being misconstrued, here they are with this cover and putting this person who represents millions of Americans, by the way, on the cover. And by the way, it's the NRA now who is more in touch with Americans and how they feel after a terrorist attack. It's the NRA who's trying to protect the rights of Americans when a terrorist is on the loose in your neighborhood and people are watching going, that looks like my neighborhood.
They're putting on equal footing, somebody who is advocating Islamic terror against somebody who is clearly mentally ill with someone who is defending people's legal rights. What if you put the CEO of Planned Parenthood on there as well? I mean, people would say that is somebody who's defending people's legal rights. It isn't different from the NRA. What kind of an outrage would that cause?
Yeah, and it's just dishonest. I mean, it's not a fair comparison to.
But they don't want to talk about that. Even though the president conflated what happened in Colorado with Paris, nobody wants to talk about who has the higher body count, the doctors at Planned Parenthood or the jihadists. Very quickly, and I think this is very important, when Megyn Kelly interviewed James James Mitchell, who waterboarded Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. He said this. He said that your country, this is Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, will turn on you. The liberal media will turn on you. The people will grow tired of this. They will turn on you. And when they do, you are going to be abandoned. He was talking about waterboarding. But I think what we have to understand is these terrorists understand our culture, and they are playing us like a fiddle, and they're playing the media. And the media is allowing that to happen. They're actually turning inward on the American people, and the terrorists understand that better than the people at the New York Daily News editorial board do. And that's a tragedy. They took 14 innocent lives, but new evidence shows the San Bernardino attackers appeared ready for so much more. The chilling new details emerging about their reported ties to ISIS, their massive arsenal, and whether they had even more targets in mind. Plus, Republican frontrunner Donald Trump is showing no signs of slowing down. The jaw-dropping results of the latest poll and what it means for his GOP rivals, and the 2016 general election.